So I had some confusion come up recently, um, and I feel called to get it resolved. I actually have two questions, but I'm going to start with the one thing that I'm pretty confused about, and that is, when you let's say you're trying to figure out some practical issue, uh, and that's not the only place where this came up. Like whether I should quit my job and move on to do something else or something like that. And I'm getting to a point where I'm not sure because there's always two voices, one telling you to do one thing and one telling you to do another thing, and the inquiry doesn't seem to work really well there because you don't know which voice to trust. And then today too, like I was going for a walk and suddenly this insight, what felt like an insight came that like really ever since I started walking on this path, the only thing that I've really can be sure of is that I don't know anything. But then I started wondering if this was an, what was that, sorry?
Yeah.
I,
Are you sure you don't know anything? Not even this we can be sure of.
right, that's exactly right. And then I was like, is this really an insight or is this my mind telling me that I don't know anything? So that's the question is, I don't know if there's any voice in there that's trustworthy anymore.
Yes, yes. Yeah, as long as it is not clear which voice is the Sadguru's voice or the intuitive voice, both of them. If it is hard to distinguish which is the voice of my mind and which is the voice of my intuitive presence, the spirit, Sadguru, whatever word you want to call it, then it is better to drop all voices. Because your intuitive presence is not in a rush. It is not expecting an outcome right then. I know that the mind sometimes poses very effectively, in fact, very authoritatively, as if it is your spiritual guide or your spiritual master. So, in fact, especially after you start coming to Satsang, the mind will start taking the words of Satsang and start saying that this is what you must do. Now, see, you're believing your thoughts. You're not supposed to believe your next thought. The mind itself starts playing as if it is the teacher. You see?
Yeah,
So, you're completely right that there comes a time where it seems a bit indistinguishable between the voice of the mind and the voice of the presence, the intuitive presence. So it is best in those cases to drop both of them. Don't go with any voice. Don't believe anything it is saying. And just see that life continues to unfold in some way or the other. And then what might happen is that as you stop believing any voice, you will find that this intuitive sense becomes stronger and stronger. But the funny thing about intuition is that as it gets stronger, our interest in trying to control our life in practical matters also reduces. so, so I can't actually imagine going to the Sadguru within and saying, Father, what to do about my job? It's just that interest is not there. You know that whatever is moving is happening through His will, through His grace anyway. And then what you'll find is that as this intuitive voice becomes stronger, you'll not be able to make use of it for anything seemingly personal. You'll see that it's here just so that it can share this presence, share the words of Satsang, and point all those who come to your presence to the truth of who you are and who they are, which is one. So that's that's a bit funny about this, that as this intuitive presence becomes clearer, more obvious, more natural, you find that the interest in trying to control the movement or the flow of your life and seeking guidance about what your next step should be actually reduces. So you find that, okay, I'm going to share something very candidly with you. I know without a doubt that this intuitive presence knows the future. I know without a doubt that this intuitive presence knows the future. And sometimes it does give you glimpses of it and things like this. But I cannot find it here to refer to it and say, please tell me what's going to happen tomorrow, what's going to happen about this. You see, I just don't have that. So I find it very funny when I hear reports about, people predicting and saying this is what the future will be like, this is what you must do. Because here I just don't have that sense that it sort of feels like the sanctity of the presence here is broken if I go to it with some sort of personal requests and personal ideas. And just this, also the personal fear about what's going to happen here, about money or relationships or the body. The sense of fear about it is gone. It does not seem like this concern about what's going to happen to this body or to the money or to relationships which flow here. So as you go through this handing over of power from the mind to the present, you'll find that we wish that we had a voice which could tell us what to do and what the future will be like. But that when that presence becomes strong, that interest in wanting to know what to do and what the future looks like itself starts to diminish to a great extent.
So until this intuition deepens, like you're saying, should we practically? Would you say that just going with any course of action and just trusting God and just saying, okay, this seems right, and then just picking one and not getting too much caught in a mental space, is that sort of what you would recommend?
Yes. This is what I would say, just to make it simpler for you. It is exactly what Bhagavan also said, which is that as long as you feel like you have some choice, as long as you still believing that you are the doer of your actions, then make the choice not to go along with your thoughts. That is the only choice you have to make. When I say don't believe your next thought, actually it makes all of this quite simple. At least that's how it seems here. I know that many have reported that it's not so simple.
Yeah.
What it feels here is that as long as there's a sense that I can do something, I have some choice, the only choice I have to make is not to believe what my thoughts are saying. Everything else is moving on its own. And in this, just letting go of the next thought, we find that this concept of choice making and doership itself starts to lose power. So all that you have to do is not believe your next thought. No matter what the situation is, no matter what the world is expecting from you, no matter what, you don't know whether you're going to go into your job and say, I quit or I'm going to stay for 10 years. Guruji also shares this story, isn't it? When his supervisor at the college or school came to him and said, "You have to do this, you have to do this," he just found his mouth moving, saying, "I quit, I can't do this." And he was wondering, where did that come from?
Yeah, yeah.
So life always moves in the way it is meant to move. It is the presumed choice maker, presumed decision maker, which is false. And in not believing our next thought, we take on the in in believing our next thought, we take on the role of this presumed decision maker, imagined decision maker. But you'll come to the discovery that there is no such thing. All of this world is actually one movement of consciousness. The world is one movement of consciousness. There's also a law in physics which says that every time you change the energy level of one atom, the rest of the universe has to adjust itself energetically to that change of energy. So every atom is interrelated, correlated. So imagine that if you just warm up your hands a bit, you're changing the edge of the universe and every atom between here and that. So this physical realm is, even physicists are coming to similar conclusions as Advaitins actually, to see that all of this is one energetic movement. Just like there is one ocean, but seeming waves. And when the wave is going up and it's crashing against the rock and things, and you say there is no wave, there is only ocean. But I am crashing against the rock. What do you mean there is no wave, there is only ocean? But when the discovery comes that this oneness, one being, one consciousness that is moving,